I was a vendor at the Toronto Record Show. Here's how I did and what I bought. Man, so I've been on an incredible journey lately. I've gone in the Toronto Record Show twice, and I've gone into the Hamilton Record Show twice. Ever since I started building this paper goods collection, which is mostly ads razored out of the old Melody Maker and Enemy and Sounds and all that kind of stuff. But I've been taking in passes and ticket stubs and books and stuff like that. So earlier today, I went in the Toronto Record Show. It's not all that interesting, what I was selling and how I did and that, but it's more interesting to me from a weirdly multi-level 4D chess nostalgia level, what I bought kind of thing. So yeah, I went into the show today and sold $1,450 worth of ads, 8.5 by 11 ads, large ads, ticket stubs, lots of backstage passes, quite a few books. So that's what I did. I piled in as much as I could into the 5-door Cooper Mini without breaking the suspension. And I have much more than I can even take. Same thing with the Hamilton show. So it was a successful show from that standpoint. So what happens at these record shows is when things get quieter, when no one's at your table, big bright room. Chris does an amazing job at the Toronto Record Show. Great venue, kind of on the west end of Toronto. Got there at about 9 a.m. and they started they opened the doors at about 10. So what happens is, as everybody's kind of filtered through and seen what you got and have been either shocked and thought this whole idea of raising out ads, hundreds and hundreds of ads from these magazines is a good idea or a stupid idea. Once most people have seen what you have, you wander around and look at stuff, right? And as I joke with people, and I've said this, I mean, Jamie's got his great let's get physical site, all about physical stuff, collecting physical, and he's amazing at it, right? But I joke with people and say, I had 11,000 records at one time. I now have 5,000. I still have 18,000 CDs. I have hundreds and hundreds of books and probably 400 rock books. I have probably 4,000 45s. I tell myself sometimes I feel like selling it all off, and sometimes I feel like spending thousands of dollars and buying more stuff. And the lazy thing to do is just do nothing, right? So what happens at these shows is when you get bored, because it's a long day, you're on your feet the whole time. Your basic diet is water and peanuts and maybe an apple throughout the whole day. So what you do is you go look around at what everybody's got, and I'm shocked at the prices things go for, and there's no way I'm going to spend. I'm not cheap, but there's no way I'm going to spend a whole lot on product when I think in the back of my mind, 50% of me says, sell it all, get rid of it all, get rid of all the physical product, because I'm definitely a big Spotify guy, right? Spotify and YouTube. So what I end up doing instead, well, so let's start with the Hamilton Record Show. I bought a whole bunch of CDs at the Hamilton Record Show, and then I get back and I'm horrified to realize half of them I already own. So that was a waste of time. So that happened a lot. So I vowed not to do that again today. And today seemed to be, in fact, I didn't buy any CDs today. Today seemed to be, I'm going to show you these records. Today seemed to be one of those days where it was just vinyl. And I screwed up a little bit and bought things I already owned, but not too much. And I'm pretty much happy with my purchases. And, like I say, I'm not cheap, but I'm really not, I don't really want a lot of product. So it takes a lot to make me want to buy product, right? So here's what I bought at this show. Again, it was a very successful show from a sales point of view. $1,450 is a big show. So that was pretty cool. But what I ended up buying is, and I'll just go through these. And again, this goes to the whole idea of nostalgia for things you might have owned, you got rid of, or things you missed at the time. but fall into the years that you're kind of interested in at the time. So first we have the records, the records. I adore this album. Turns out, I don't know when I got rid of them, but I sold the first records album, this one, and I sold Crashes, which is way better than this one. And it's an absolute masterpiece. And I don't even own a copy of it anymore. And I have the third one. But for some reason, and I thought as I'm buying this, I think I paid $5 or $4 for this. I'm buying this thinking, I hope I don't own this damn thing. And it turns out, yeah, good, positive. I didn't own this album already. Love this album to death. It's a gatefold. But Crashes is even better, the second one. So there you go. That's the first one. The next thing is, let's go back to the Hamilton show for a second. Hamilton, I bought a bunch of Rolling Stone stuff. I ended up buying Steel Wheels on CD. Turns out I already owned it. I used to own every single thing the Stones ever made and got rid of it all over the years, which is stupid because I also joke about that idea. You've heard that joke that when men reach middle age, suddenly they're super interested in World War II. I think that applies to the Rolling Stones as well. So I did buy 40 Licks, and I bought a live album, like a later live album. And like I say, I bought Steel Wheels, ill-advisedly. I bought a Megadeth recent album that I didn't own. Bunch of stuff. I bought an Elvis Costello I already owned. I bought Ian Hunter I already owned. Stupid, right? But I got diverted there because I wanted to talk about this band, the Kinks. I love the Kinks. I got rid of most of my Kinks albums over the years. I owned every single thing they ever made, and lost it all. Sold it all off to buddies with the record stores, or just buddies generally who would come by the office and take stuff off of me. So I really only have the post give the people what they want albums left. So I thought, okay, let's buy up a few more of these. So this was what was he asking for these? So this before the show opens, right? I think he was asking $10 a piece or 3 for 20, something like that. So I ended up buying this and my two favorite Kinks albums of all time, I would say, which are Low Budget and Give the People What They Want. So I got those again. So those kind of go in a range, right? I should get Arthur again. I love Arthur. And yeah, Celluloid Heroes didn't particularly need this, but what the heck? I've had discussions with guys today. It's like we are the end users of some of this stuff, right? We've got Doug, the major Triumph collector, sold him a bunch of stuff today. We've got I don't even know his name, but my buddy from Detroit who's come by some of these things, super Guess Who expert. So he keeps buying up the Guess Who stuff. But oh, look at this. So Kinks, I don't even have an inner sleeve in this thing. So yeah, sometimes I feel like you just have to own these things because you need to, and I don't want to own the CDs because that's not how God made these records. They made them on records. So, I have this, I'll play the LP, I'll play Spotify. CD is just a hollow experience. Spotify is for convenience, but good to own this stuff, right? So what else did I buy? Bought Stiffs Live. Now this falls into the idea of I'm really a lot into post-punk, new wave punk these days. All these records. Of course, I owned this in the past as well, but don't own it anymore. But now I own it again, right? So I paid $5-ish for this. Actually, this was, I think, probably $7. This was a big mistake. Sniffing the Tears, Fickle Heart. I confused them with Flash in the Pan. Turns out I already own this album and I already own their second one as well. So that was stupid. I think I paid $5 for this. Dumb idea. My Sex, Australian band. They have this song Computer Games, which is sort of computery, but the rest of it is just good quality, kind of tough guitar-y new wave. Glad I got this, I suppose. 1979 CBS. Unfortunately, no inner sleeve, just this beat up, bare bare paper thing, ripped, pieces falling off of it. No credits, so that's kind of stupid. But anyways, that's cool. Um, Next we have Billy Idol. Billy Idol, once owned this, don't own it anymore. I bought this because I just interviewed Billy Idol recently and had a great experience doing that. I've always been quite a fan, not a crazy fan. Got the Generation X albums, loved the whole Rebel Yell Magic here. So played this. It's a little scratchy, but kind of cool. Yeah, the back cover says, Clayton, Merry Christmas. I love you more than you will ever know. Yes, always be your mom as you will always be my son. Love mom XOXO. So yeah, big signing on the back. Um, but yeah, not a bad album, very safe. Um, but yeah, had a great chat with Billy Idol. You can check out that interview in Goldmine magazine. It'll probably be online as well. Um, nostalgia for things you missed at the time, but they are of a time you're interested in many years later. Soft sell. So as I'm playing these records, um, I would look them up on Wikipedia. And so realizing this is their fourth album, pretty adventurous. I played it. Very cool album. I liked it. Um, but never really cared about soft cell, not my kind of music. But yeah, all this gold and red. Yeah, the whole thing's in gold and red. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, good adventurous post-punk, pretty cool band. Kind of into it. So yeah, this was a good purchase, I think. Um, More records I owned, over the years. Lena Lovitch, kind of the more alternative, quirky, put her between Kate Bush and Cyndi Lauper, I guess. But I went and played these again and totally enjoyed them. I thought they were very cool. I have owned these over the years. They're like $1 albums that I've had, but no longer have. So we have this is her debut, and this is the second one. So that's kind of nice and tidy. So what do we got here? 79 and 1980. Pretty cool. So yeah, again, totally coming home thinking, oh my God, do I own these damn albums already? This would suck if I just went and bought these, paid all of $5 for them and I already had them, because there are so many records. I have a lifetime of records that I want to. I was playing Toya the other day, a Toya album that I had, totally loved it. Have had it for 20 years. I don't think I've ever played it before. Played it, loved it. It was cool. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff I'm really into these days, is rechecking out these years that I went through, not my golden years. My golden years are 76, 77, 78, right? But this later kind of 80, 81, 82 post-punk thing where I've had these albums, didn't pay them much attention. Let's pay them some attention again and get into them. And I thought this was really cool. And again, same kind of thing. I cannot believe I was even out there thinking to pay $4 or $5 for something like this. Nine Below Zero. Don't point your finger. Looked it up on Spotify while I was playing it and quite enjoyed the fact that I bought it. And it's kind of like pub rock, tight new wave. Apparently, their debut album was Live at the Marquee. And then they made this album, which is a studio album produced by Glyn Johns. And then they broke up. But glad I got it. Yeah, I read on the wiki that Peter Clark, the bass player, Glyn Johns thought he was a crappy bass player, and they replaced him afterwards. But then they broke up. They never did make another album. I think somebody went on to the Blow Monkeys. But yeah, glad I own this now. And I swear to God, I've owned this 2 or 3 times in my life anyways. And I don't remember, I played it today while also checking Jay's highlights and checking the F1 highlights. There's so much sports that I had to catch up on coming home from this show. That's the other thing about these shows, right? I was joking with a few guys at the show, and it's like, one of your goals is to like sell a bunch of stuff and bring home a bunch of cash. That's cool. But the other goal is to load everything into your car, load it out of the car, load it back into the car, and load it out of the car at the other end without seriously or permanently wrecking your back. Because yeah, these ads I have are all in cardboard backing with plastic sleeves. They're paper and they're in record crates. They weigh a ton. They actually weigh more than a crate of records. And yeah, so the whole one of my whole goals is navigating myself, bending down, with the knees, not the back, 4 times, and also you're wrecking your car too, because I have a small car, and just getting there and back without wrecking your back. Um, so yeah, so again, successful day at the record show. Wandering around, looking at all these albums that dozens and dozens of albums that I own, sitting up on racks for $90, $100, $40. Um, but then just kind of going through everybody's $5 bins and just looking for these weird little nooks and crannies records that I want to check out, kind of thing. So yeah, that's my record show experience today. The Jays won today. That was pretty cool. Caught up with the family and caught the tail end of that. Trevor had one game on his laptop. We were watching. What were we watching? Well, first we watched the end of Tampa Bay. So Baker did a nice 2-minute drill, I suppose, at the end to win that game over the Jets. And then, yeah, that's right. We moved over so we watched the end of the Jays game while watching Chicago and Dallas. Started that out. So now I'm catching up on the F1 highlights, and I don't think I've stuffed my back. And in the meantime, I've been hitting mute here and there, and been hitting pause and playing these weird little nooks and crannies, post-punk, new wave albums, slowly catching up on the Kinks albums I want to own again. Like I said, with the Hamilton Record Show, I think Rolling Stones is something I want to kind of rebuy. I kind of want to rebuy all the early Elvis Costello stuff, I suppose, as well. Rebuy maybe some of the Ramones stuff, although it's expensive. I'm not going to rebuy it on vinyl. Screw that. I'll rebuy that on CD. But yeah, that's my pathetic purchases, ridiculous purchases at the Toronto Record Show today. And again, hails to Chris for putting on a great show and allowing me. And I heard other people saying they had really good shows too, but I had a great show, and I love it when people get excited about the ads, right? A lot of people, people come by, some people flip through and go, "What? This is stupid." And then a lot of people flip through it and they're flipping through the entire collection thinking, "I love this idea." And then they buy a few things, which is kind of cool. So there you go. Martin Popoff for the Contrarians, solo show, solo rant. Like and subscribe, do all that good stuff. We've got a Patreon situation. We've got merch. Check out my audio podcast as well, History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff, and the one I do with John Gaffney, Kicked in the Teeth, an AC/DC podcast. And I've reopened somewhat, maybe a third of my site because of this tariff hell we've gone through. But you can get my new Iron Maiden book, my new Dio book, my new Deep Purple book, the 3 biggest books I've ever made. Hardcover, full color throughout. Very nice books. And then the redo of the Max Webster and the Merciful Fate. And the Suite is there, the Bluish Cult, the 2 Sabbaths, the 2 UFOs, blah, blah, blah. There you go. Go play some 9 Below Zero.